Hello and welcome to Perfect Universe, where I was planning to do this a long time ago, and it's one of those games that should work on the old PC, but it doesn't. Right, so I played a bit on the new PC, but obviously it crashed, so we didn't really get to continue. But it's a pretty cool game, and because I've got it cross-streaming now, we can actually do our gameplay with a controller, which might make it a million times easier, because this was pretty hard without the controller. Now, you might think, what the hell's going on? But as you run around the planet, your controls change, so you get to left. Right, let's just run left. Left, that's as far left as you go. So now, suddenly down is carrying on. And you can see how that's quite a disorienting little mechanic, which I wasn't expecting, to be honest. I expected it to be linear controls, and that just adds an extra aspect of the puzzling. But with using an Xbox 360 controller, or basically any controller, it does make it a lot easier, whereas WASD, you can imagine how difficult the change between WASD between the controls is. And also gravity wells are completely separate, so you jump between the two planets and you have your own separate gravity wells. And it makes the game quite an interesting little challenge, and we only got 2 stars there. But you may remember things like, I can't remember the name of the film, but this is the film where there's inside the space station, she's on a treadmill, and it's showing you the scene from outside, so it varies the perspective whilst she's just running on the treadmill, and that puzzle's a lot harder just because of the change in momentum that we had to do there. For example, if I could have just held right to jump right, that would have been perfectly fine and I could have managed that, but the fact that we're changing momentum around an ever decreasing gravity wheel, because the gravity well essentially is in the centre. So there's a centre point of gravity in the middle of this circle, and so the higher and closer we are to it, the finer the control differences between the right and left. And on WASD alone, that's going to be a bigger challenge than it is on this control pad. And obviously the variation between these small jumps, it's like you've got to learn that you're rotating your arrow. Rotate your arrow. No, seriously, that's the fucking old meme. Yeah. Welcome to Old Memes HD, non-HD, cross-stream to old PCs, because the new PC crashes because the RX 480 is a piece of shit. I mean, really, 8GB graphics card that just crashes on things. It's ridiculous. So yeah, we lost all the footage on this as well. Which is why we're doing it cross-streaming, because I'm not recording anything on the new PC now. In fact, this is the hardest jump, because once the gravity well changes, it's like we're jumping so close to the centre point. It's such a microscopic difference that it looks a lot easier than it is. So again, it's changed me round. I wasn't going left, I was holding right, but I guess I needed to press up. No, too far, because once you start flipping gravity, that's it, you're done. And it's not as simple as you might think, because you'd think, right, just hold up, it's 12 o'clock, you're not going any further than 12 o'clock by pressing up, but you are, seriously. She goes higher than 12 o'clock. So, you know, it looked a pretty promising game, and it's not a bad puzzle game, it's just, oh my god. Some of these mechanics on some of these levels make it a lot harder than it should be. I mean, you'd think it would be natively easy to pick up, but it's just the way the control scheme is. I would like to set it to absolute rather than relative. If I could have absolute control, so that right is right to the character, because that's how a normal person would be, and that's how my mind works. But we're relative to the level, and relative controls. Thank you for that. That's just what I needed, to flip gravity. Oh my... I'm not saying oh my days, I'm not an oh my days person. Oh, wait, I may be doing this completely wrong. I've just sinned the exploit. The exploits! That means we might not even have to bother. Right, firstly, we will risk death. Fuck it. Right, exploits. This is a very dangerous gravity well there. Right, basic exploit. You just step up the other way. Right level select now. Around we go. Around the world. Copyright strikes. Oh, there's cogs in there. But yeah, a lot of the levels are rotating and you have to adapt to how the world is rotating and your character is rotating to what you can do at the time. As well as the gravity wells. It's not too hard to grasp, it's just the major... Jump when I tell you to jump, please. The major part is simply handling the relative controls, because the relative controls are what are killing me, not anything else. So yeah, I can get a handle on it to a degree, it's just... And also I'd like it to just go to the next level, not level select when I click. You know, I expect to be able to just click through and go straight. This could be a fun level. Show the... If we could get the jump right. I think there was a button to dive, what was it? Yeah, circle. Right, so circle that allows you to dive, and dive if we get the right gravity. Damn it. No! Dive can be useful in making the levels look elegant, but if you fail and you miss your gravity well, then you're boned. Also, just generally boned. In some of the early levels I could flop around like a fish, but I was playing on the keyboard again, rather than the game pads. So just flop around in space like a space whale. Not a narwhal, a space whale. Right, the room. Let's go. So yeah, it's a pretty fun game, it's just the control scheme is a little challenging, maybe more so than the puzzles at times, and the flop as well. It does throw your momentum and your gravity field completely. It's like you can float. And get your balls chopped off. The Room of Doom, which we would have... Oh, come on. You stubbed your toe. Floating is an option. And he does literally float rather than fly. You know, he doesn't have the mechanics you'd expect when he's floating. Like, fly, my whale. No, please. Yeah, he didn't have the momentum to float for some reason. That's what I was expecting on the last float. I guess we just want to do a normal jump there. The Room of Doom, I'm making it harder than it needs to be. And this may be our last level before we call it an episode. I don't know if I'm going to return to this. Oh, great. So it's taking me out to the game. The worst part of that is because of the streaming, to get back into the game takes a lot longer than when it naturally takes you out of the game. Of course, old PC issues. The old PC loves to take me out of the game and go, hey, you bought this PC off eBay, this copy of Windows might not be genuine. Damn it. What gem are we missing there? Really? Where were we missing? And it just loves to drag me out of the game, and that is quite irritating indeed. Flop. Right, well, we had to flop. Oh, it's under the... Oh, there's one under here as well. How did I miss that? Because it's hidden, that's how. No, don't belly flop it. Damn it! Right, maybe we're making this harder than it needs to be, but it's a perfect universe, and it's quite interesting, and levels like this, no, please, he's a leaf in the wind. He's a fucking leaf in the wind. I should stop floating. I really need to stop floating. I mean, clearly there's puzzles that need it, and it helps, but you know, it might have helped in that last level where I was really struggling with the jumps, but I forgot about it until afterwards. And, you know, levels like this where the gravity being linear, or, you know, the controls being linear rather than absolute, isn't so bad, because it's a fairly straightforward level. But in some of the rotational levels where you're around a circular object like this, it can make a big difference. Right, squishy things. His name is Squishy, and I love him, and he will be my pet, and he will be mine. No. Oh, that's another old reference, and an old reference to an old friend, who I'm not in touch with anymore, but, you know, hey, ho, life goes on. Yeah, Squishy is going to get me killed. Right, should I flop in the winds? Dive! Come on, you could have made that, Floppy. His name is Floppy, and he will be floppy. And that's not a euphemism for my penis. Right, now there's one very easy and obvious way to do this, which involves, we could have probably made that timing, just go around the other way, because it's the easiest way to get through this without getting squished. You don't even need that, I mean, who do you think I am? I am... Oh, come on! I could have totally combat rolled into that, but he didn't, he was too slow. Serious, that didn't touch me. I'm calling BS on that. And again, you know I was going to call it an episode, but it's one of those games, like, you just want to keep going on and having some more fun and puzzles. And yes, the controls can be frustrating, but it's still a fun game, despite the awkward controls. Yes, they make life hard and make it awkward, but it's still a fun game, and, you know, it's a little easy puzzly game for a bit of a challenge and a bit of a fun, and this is a floppy world, isn't it? Damn it. If we can flop around the discs of Doom, Johnny Doom, how did we not get that? I know I'm jumping the wrong way because I'm going head first into that. Oh, we're landing on the disc. For some reason I thought that we would rotate and be able to go through that, and it was just like, yeah, we'll fly above the saw, you know, no danger. Just a Britain's Got Talent episodes. Look at my talent, I hover above saws. Because I'm that good of a magician. Shit. And I can hover above any saw and not die. See how I soar in the sky. Get it? Soar. S-O-A-R rather than S-A-W. It's the English language. I saw a saw and I soared above it. It kind of gives us perspective of an extra 3D level than it is. Fly! Shit. But you can see how fun just flying is. You're not meant to be able to have that gravity, but he can fly over anything if he catches the right winds. He can just fly around the entire planet and turn back time. No, he can't turn back time, he doesn't fly that fast. But he can skip half the puzzle, and it's pretty handy if you want to get those extra stars. Like Waterworld. They're meant to be making a Waterworld TV series, but they never did. And, you know, it's quite nice effects for how simplistic the artwork is. They've done a really good job with it to make it look cool and interesting. Because, you know, they could have just skimped out and had a really boring, who needs popes? See if you can find a boat and fly above it and not use it. And miss the land. If I had a bit more momentum. Right, I'm gonna fly above that boat. Who needs boats? Boats are for chumps and dwarves. See if you can ignore a boat. See if you can fly around the world. I can. Yeah, so, you know, check it out for yourself. Perfect universe. And a perfect universe isn't full of swingers, no. I'm more of a one lady guy. Oh, well, this level needs us to float. And it needs us to float in a quite different manner. Unless we can actually... Oh, we can grab it, right. It needs us to do actual gymnastics! And not try to see if we can fly. No, that's not what I said to do. We need to fling off in a better direction than that. Right, the momentum isn't like reality. You don't let go at the points where you would let go in reality to keep your forward momentum. Clearly. You need to let go way too late. Float! Land and fly! Fly, my pretty. Find the Wizard of Yogs. Follow the meat-east crows. That will lead you to the wonderful Wizard of Yogs. Who is of course Filbert, not Fumblemore. Filbert is the ultimate wizard. And he's on Grindr. Oh my god. Grindr references with Lewis Brindley. Welcome to my channel. Or should that be Bruce Ginley? Is there going to be a gin reference for the next level? Anyway, we're going to call it an episode. I've had too much fun today. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.